Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Hospitality Today Live. We're glad you are here with us again this week because it's only getting better and better with all my amazing guests. And 2020 pandemic really produced a revolution in the meetings and events industry that required clients, decision makers, meeting and event professionals to relearn and rethink everything from business models to sponsorships. For better or worse, 2020 changed everything. And it all depends on the meeting and event planners adapting and navigating in order to see what's going to happen with meetings and events and what they look like moving forward. And it's going to look different. And there's going to be a lot of different options for them to choose from as well. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today, because we have with us the Director of Sales for the State Farm Stadium, Brian Hatchitt, with us here today. Brian is going to highlight non-traditional venues, what opportunities are developed with these type of venues, and how can companies and organizations benefit by holding their meetings and events in big venues. And we're going to talk a lot more as well, and we're hoping you will join us with your questions and comments as well. So we'll be right back. Don't go away. And team building at pickles.com. Well, welcome, Brian. We're happy that you're with us today.
Hello, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much, because we have not had an opportunity to talk about big venues since the beginning of the show, almost a year ago now. So this is why I think this episode is really important for any type of decision maker to listen to, because again, it's all about adapting and navigating through a new world, especially for the meetings industry. So I'm hoping that everybody is viewing and watching, because we've got a lot to talk about today. And one thing that we need to start with is, the big venues across the country, across the world, usually cater to sports, concerts, shows, and things like that. So why should the meetings industry take a look at big venues?
That's such a common question, and it's funny because you'd like to think that it goes without saying that a major facility like a stadium or an arena or a mega event venue would be top of mind when it comes to all different types of programs, but it's not. And so educating the masses and educating the planners and event producers that stadiums and arenas really not only offer some really unique ways of conducting programming and sort of delivering content, but also budget friendly. It's not out of reach, budgetarily speaking, for programs of all sizes to consider a special event venue like a stadium.
Well, that's good to know, because it doesn't seem like it's really a top of mind for the meetings industry to take a look at a big venue. They only usually look at the number of attendees that they're expecting and making that peg fit within that hole, which are usually ballrooms, hotel ballrooms. So looking at big venues, I would think would give them all kinds of different options, right?
Absolutely. People often think the first thing you go to when you think of a stadium or an arena venue is the floor, right? Where the field goes, or where the basketball court or the ice for a hockey team. There's so much more built into these stadiums. We have spaces on 5 different levels that can accommodate everything from a small, private wine tasting for 15 people in an area that you wouldn't even assume is in a stadium, all the way up. I mean, we can do the 10,000 person receptions on the floor. We can do everything in between. We can do a general session for 200 theater style in one of our service level ballroom spaces. We've got, our club level spaces, which are great for receptions and trainings and incentive programs, where you can build in things like punt, pass, kick workshops and things that are all about team building and making it really more of an experience than your typical meeting program. We all love the hotel ballrooms and the convention centers, and they do a great job. But as we come out of this COVID world and we're looking at things differently, we're looking at our budgets, we're looking at our programming, we're looking at the ROI that we need to deliver to our attendees. We're looking at it all very differently, and these types of venues really can help you get creative in the way you execute those.
Yeah, and you were able to send us some pictures over. So let's take a look at some of these, because I think these are really good visuals for people to understand how their meetings and events can fit within a big venue. And of course, a big venue like this at the State Farm Stadium, that's a complete, floor look, right? Right.
With trade shows, consumer shows, even the expo floor portion of a larger conference work, those types of programs work great on the floor. We have at our building, we have a unique advantage because the field comes out and we just have 160,000 square feet of concrete.
Wow.
But it lends perfectly to those types of programs. And then we've got this space here on our service level, which is a 12,000 square foot room, perfect for general sessions, perfect for receptions. It's a blank canvas that you can set for whatever type of programming you're doing. We've got the locker rooms. This is one of our special venues, the auxiliary and visiting team locker rooms, where you can do themed types of receptions and programming. We can do theater style for trainings. We can do here you're looking at a reception that was held. Those are great conversation venues as well. Here we've got a location inside the bowl. It's our North Upper Terrace on the upper concourse level. That's 14,000 square feet of concrete. You can do anything with that. You can do here it's a large banquet dinner with a program. You can set staging. You can do theatrical presentations. We've done proms. All that goes on up there. This is another one on one of our other decks that had a special program. It overlooks the stadium bowl, so you've got this amazing backdrop of a pro sports facility to accompany your programming, which is just really a unique experience for those attendees. The production capabilities built into these facilities is incredible. You have the support of some major production, top level production companies. This is just the entrance to a special event that we did a couple of years ago. It really makes an amazing impression, which is something you really have to focus on, is that impression. Companies are really looking at their budgets and what they're willing to allow their teams to participate in. If there's travel and hefty registration fees and things involved, they want to get the most bang for their buck, and that impression that the facility can provide just really enhances that experience for the attendees.
I couldn't agree with you more, because we just saw in the report in the industry from the Global Meetings and Events forecast of here in 2021 that North America internal team meetings are the most common meeting activity type, with 17% in the US market, 19% in Europe, 16% in Asia Pacific, and 19% in Central and South America. So due to the space that you have, like for an example, at your venue, team activity events are going to be, just perfect for big venues.
Yeah, and especially as you look at the conditions we're coming out of, right? We've all been confined to our home offices, and we've all been forced into reclusiveness, and we want to get out, and we want to engage with our teams. We want to really kind of take the shadow of isolation off and experience things like we didn't take advantage of the opportunity to do before. I think there's going to be a significant demand for those experiential types of team building and networking and engagement programs that facilities like this really lend well to.
Well, and I think what would be top of mind for anyone that is, looking at a big venue, and maybe let's say they have 100 person meeting or a 300 person event. Do you have a lot of events going on at once? And how does a smaller meeting and event, attention wise, compared to a big trade show if it was going on at the same time?
That's a great question, because that's something that we consider often, is the mix of business inside the facility, and is it going to work logistically for everybody involved? So that's one of the things that I would actually encourage planners to explore with their special event venue partners, is making sure that you're layering your business appropriately. If we have for instance, a mega dirt show with big monster trucks, we're not gonna book a private reception in the club space. The noise isn't going to allow for that. So, however, when if we have a more quieter type of program, like a trade show or something down on the floor, we absolutely can layer in those club space activities, and with so many different ingress and egress points, parking everywhere, there's no risk of interruption to programming when you overlap like that. So very good question.
Well then, so why should a company or organization consider a big venue? I mean, like, what would be the actual benefit above and beyond? I saw the AV capabilities, which is incredible. But is there something in particular that that can separate you from a ballroom or a convention center space?
Yeah, it's really about the experience. What it boils down to, you really to walk into. I mean, I can speak from personal experience. You go to a conference or a networking event or any type of event in our industry, and you go to a ballroom or you go to a convention center, you go to, a facility that's, I won't say average, but typical, you know what I mean? The ones we're used to, and they all start to seem homogenous after a while. You know what I mean? I can't remember. I think back to programs I've been to. I couldn't tell you what city they were in. I couldn't tell you what hotel or convention center they were in. When you bring people to a facility like this, that's a lifelong memory for people. Oftentimes people don't have the opportunity to come to a facility that's hosted 2+ major league sport events and use them as their backdrop. It's incredible just that you have to have somebody walk in this facility and watch the roof open up, watch the field tray be moved out of the building. Just the kind of technology that exists in this building is incredible. But those awe-inspiring experiences really make a difference. People really hold on to not only what they felt and experienced when they walked in, but what they learned, who they met. The whole inclusive experience is just it's lasting in a facility like this.
And it's a lot of fun at the same time.
Yeah, and you can incorporate those other ancillary activities, which really carry the theme throughout. Like I was talking about, the pong, pass, kick, those kinds of things. That really, it doesn't have to be sports focused, but you can really capitalize on the uniqueness of the venue in creative ways that allow you to flex your creative muscles a little bit, and as you're developing your content and developing the experience for those attendees.
That's excellent. That is huge, because you're absolutely right. Sometimes I just don't know what city I'm in. Right. When you're in a ballroom or a convention center, they all look the same. So until you get outside, but at least you had that experience inside at the same time, right, above and beyond just what city you're in. Well, we have a fan of yours that has a question here. And it turns out it's from Lynn Wellish.
Hi, Lynn.
How is your sales team deployed to focus on so many different types of meetings and events? How large is your sales team? You touched on it a little bit already, but it sounds like we need some more in-depth information in there. Specifically,
my department, we're a party of two. We focus really on those special and private events that fill in the blanks around the team schedule and the mega events, the concerts and the dirt shows and the larger stadium-wide events. But the approach to booking the stadium for these types of unique programs is throughout the entire team. Everyone from our operations to our event production to our executive administration. Everybody understands the importance of the special event program and focuses on making sure that we deliver those one-of-a-kind experiences, those really, really high-level experiences to all of our planners and producers?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think a lot of people can feel probably intimidated on actually, where do I call? Who do I
Right.
contact? I mean, the stadium is so big as it is. They're thinking that there's, hundreds and hundreds of people staff-wise that's catering to all these groups. So I think getting the intimidation of where they need to call or who to contact would be a lot easier, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I have the 3 A's that I'm always trying to educate my buyers, and that's we are approachable, we are affordable, and we are accessible. We're easy to get to, we're easy to use. We have all of the resources at our disposal to make it convenient. We are very affordable. We can package things and do things for each program based on the needs of the planners and the experience that they're intending to deliver to their attendees. And we are accessible. I'm your contact. I'm your go-to. My information is available online. Our website has a specific section dedicated to our private event availability. So easy to find, easy to access.
Right. And you're live. You're not a robot.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
They can actually get you to answer the phone.
Yeah. I work here in the stadium. I live here in the Valley. I'm part of, our industry community, and I'm easy to find.
That makes sense. So I love the 3 A's. That's great to remember. And pertaining to the second A, when you talked about affordability, and you mentioned it earlier about budgeting, but I wanted to go a little bit deeper in that, because since, this whole pandemic started, as most people claim, March of 2020, the industry has lost about $500 billion, even just to this date. So when you say affordability, how can meeting and event professionals look within their budget and have the confidence that a big venue search or their RFPs coming to you aren't any different than other places?
The easy answer is because they're not different. When you're looking at a stadium, don't look at the size of the venue and assume that the budget has to match. You're not renting the full facility, unless you are, in which case, bring it on. But if you're looking at smaller private events, you're looking at, these meetings, these receptions, these smaller, sales training, you name it. You're renting a specific designated portion of the building, not the whole building. So you're not paying those large rental fees, right? And then most expenses are just a pass through. You know what I mean? We don't have huge markups for that. That we have cost of business and cost of doing business built in, but we operate very transparently too. If there's an expense for electrical services that's going to cost us this, we're going to tell you this is what it is and this is why it is. I work with you on building your budget around what you're intending to deliver to the attendees, right? Mm-hmm. We need to be respectful of what our marching orders are in terms of honoring our financial commitment to our employers, right? Or our clients.
Right.
But I customize, I build the package around what it is that you want to do. And I provide you with all of the resources so you can make those decisions with everything on the table.
Yeah, that's great. That's good to hear, and that's great for our viewers to hear, because again, there's that intimidation factor when you see a big building, whether it's a stadium or an arena. So on top of the fact that they're going to get this great experience, like at your venue, are there other benefits and creativity that comes into play, whether it's, they hire, a local mascot or a celebrity that is connected to that arena or stadium? Does that, I would imagine that brings a whole new level of experience, but having that type of resource to provide something unique and different that they've never had before can happen with big venues.
Absolutely. We have a whole portfolio of event enhancements that you can bring in. When you're talking to a stadium or an arena that has a primary tenant, meaning they have a sports team that plays there, or they have some special interest organization that occupies the building for a period of time. Find out about the relationship there. Find out about how you can leverage that connection market your program and to build some unique experiences for your attendees around that. Like, for us, we do have the opportunity to bring in some enhancements from our tenants and our teams. So every venue is different. Everybody has different opportunities to leverage different things at their disposal. But ask the questions. One of the great benefits of looking at a unique venue is you can kind of look at your programming with fresh eyes and ask questions that you don't know what you don't know. So use the professionals within the stadium to provide you with what's available, and then custom build a program around it.
Right. Well, we've got more questions for you from the gallery. Let's bring a couple of these in. I like this one from Lisa Raymond. Can State Farm Stadium, I'm sure any big venue, offer hybrid with captions for for the hearing? Oh, okay. That's a great question for the hearing community. So do you have that kind of capabilities?
Absolutely. And we work with our external partners for production and audiovisual services regularly to make sure that the experience is all inclusive and we can accommodate everybody. Now we've learned a lot this last year about the importance of the hybrid types of events and really the opportunities that exist within them. Different opportunities to bring in sponsorship dollars or in-kind partners for those types of services. And you learn lessons as you go, and you offer those as resources to your clients. And I don't know if that answered the question, but
yeah, absolutely. I think people really it's hard for them to understand the big venues offer the same as any other type of meeting or event venue. It's just on a bigger scale, but it's a different experience. So I see more flexibility in site selection with the meetings industry to take a look at big venues because audiences today, they're smart. They've been everywhere. They've done anything. They're going to be looking to bring them back, to, gathering events. And what better way than to wow them with something unique and different, just like a big venue.
Yeah, you want to hit it hard, especially coming out of this pandemic when people are really itching to get out there. I read a report yesterday that came out that said that 85% of previous event attendees are comfortable getting back to in-person events, which is a significant change from even a few months ago. In the spring, they surveyed the same audience, and it was like 53%, something like that. So
perfect.
That is changing. It's growing. The industry is ready to accept that interest and ready to really make some cool things happen.
Yeah, so it sounds like the projections are starting to turn in our favor for meetings and events to come back, and that's really key. Well, we have another question for you from Visibly Media. Are there types of meetings or industries that State Farm Stadium cannot host?
That's a great question. I've never thought about it because
nobody wants to have that happen, but
right?
that could happen.
I haven't run into anything that was a market segment or an industry that we couldn't provide opportunities for. That's another great thing is we are so not cookie cutter in a building like this. Going back to the customization and the things that we've done and the resources we've gained from all of that experience have given us some great flexibility to consider all different types of programs. I've done walks for nonprofits that come and walk around the concourse and have their carnival with their vendors and their sponsors down on the floor. We've done outside activities in the cooler months of Phoenix. But yeah, there's really there's no limitations.
Yeah, I bet there's not. If anything, I think it's probably the opposite. Because, ballrooms and convention centers could be restrictive, whereas you have that space to play with. So I can definitely see the opportunity for anybody and everyone should, call and at least investigate their local venue, because I would imagine, a lot of meetings right now are small and staying local. So why not start with your local venue, whether it's a stadium or an arena outfit?
Right. And we've come out and take a tour. Get in touch with me. Come out, do a site tour. We can talk about how your options really are kind of limitless here with regard to your programming, and some of the things that we learned through the pandemic regarding health safety and sanitization protocols and things like that. We really paid attention, did our research, made sure that that our clients are taken care of in all regards.
Yeah, and I think that's step one to discuss with any client, letting them know where you are with that protocol and to see what their stance is on it too, and partner in that area, because we're at that iffy point of do we wear a mask, do we not? I think if working with your decision maker and letting them know that you're on their team as well is big, is huge.
Right. And we had to, this is a building that at times can have 65, 70 plus thousand people in it at one time. We really had to be involved in setting the standards and make sure that we were ahead of the industry, really. Setting standards.
Right. Well, you've got plenty of parking there, so
that is true.
That's not going to be an issue at all. And I've been to an event. I believe it was a meeting MPI event one time that was up on one of those balconies, and it was fantastic. It was fabulous, and just plenty of room. Which right now we want to stay 6 feet apart as we can. Plenty of room, plenty of things to see. Wandering around and taking a tour of the locker rooms. It was all exciting. I still remember that, and that was years ago.
That predates me. I wasn't even here for that.
No,
and
exactly. This was before you. Yeah, this was before you. As a matter of fact, I think I forgot to show this at the top of the show. I wanted to show you one of the times that you and I were in Albuquerque together.
Oh boy!
Of course, our industry all about having fun, right?
A good shout out to my friends at MPI New Mexico. That is back in the day, right?
Yeah, that's when I was presenting for you guys, and it was just so much fun. And I think that's the first time you and I met and hit it off since then. And now you're in my backyard in Arizona. Well, before we depart, I wanted to ask you, is there one lesson that you might have learned, or maybe the staff at State Farm Stadium has learned above and beyond during this entire pandemic process?
Yeah, I've been asked that question before, and the best answer I can give to that is I have really learned about the importance of connectivity and staying connected to people. And we lost so much human contact over the past year, and with that we've really, I don't know, for me, I really took the time to evaluate my own personal needs with regard to connection and network and just the need for people and those, even if just on the outskirts of our lives, we need those relationships. We need the positivity that comes out of that. It's been very important, even within the work environment, to be here in the office and to be able to see people passing the hallways and stop by somebody's office and just chit chat. It's been those little micro experiences are so invaluable.
Absolutely, 100% agree with you on that. And I think people are going to start seeing the connection happening more and more. But why not start now if you haven't been this entire past year or 19 months? Because it's what we need. It's what we need to keep moving forward. And so you hit it on the nail right there, definitely. So how can people get in touch directly with you, Brian?
You can find all my contact information on our website, statefarmstadium.com. Just follow the links to host your event. I'm part of the MPI community here in Arizona with the Arizona Sunbelt chapter. You can find me there, or give me a call. My phone number's on the website as well. I'm easy to find, easy to get in touch with.
Good to hear that. Good to hear that. And yes, I think people need to start looking at, again, better or worse. 2020 changed everything, and why not keep changing? There's no rules. There's no right or wrong of doing anything right now.
Yeah.
Why not just take a chance and try something new and different with a big venue like yours? So thank you so much for sharing this insight. I wouldn't have known, I wouldn't have had any clue of how to get in touch with someone if I was a meeting and event professional. And I think that's the first step is to build that relationship with a big venue and seeing what they can offer. So thank you so much for joining us today, and really appreciate your knowledge.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
You bet. Well, there you go. Now you have the knowledge and the expertise and even the resource to take a look at your local venue, big venue or arenas, stadiums, and try it. Try something unique and different. And if anything, call Brian and ask him more questions, and he'll be happy to help you as well. And so I'm glad that you were able to join us today, because it really does make a difference to try something unique and different, because again, 2020 changed everything, and it's okay to try something unique and different. So if you enjoyed today's episode, by all means, our replay will be on Facebook and YouTube. Share it with others and continue the conversation as well. And we want to thank our sponsor, pickles.com, for this episode as well. And if you have any questions or comments, please email us at hello@hospitalitytodaylive.com. So you want to know what's next? Next Tuesday, same time? Well, we have the founder and CEO of Smart Meetings, Marin Bright. And Marin is actually going to share with us what smart women are. Who are they in the leadership category here in the industry? All the smart women that she would like to name and talk about, because we need to know, and she's going to share with us how women, what are they doing in today's industry and what they can be doing as well. And she's got all kinds of advice to give for women that want to promote themselves, to advance themselves real quickly. And so we're going to talk about that and so much more next Tuesday at the same time. I'm Deborah Gardner, and I want to thank you on behalf of our entire staff that you are here with us each and every week. We really appreciate it. And remember, if you're thinking about it, we're talking about it right here on Hospitality Today Live. Everyone, have a great week.